Now, Rowan, I want to give you an opportunity to take the long run up all the way from the central coast of the studio here, because guess what? A Spanish climate activist is saying that this is fantastic for the planet. This person says that neither Greenpeace nor Greta Thunberg nor any other individual or collective organisation has achieved so much in favour of our health of the planet in such a short time, blah, 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 blah. Dickhead that he is. Anyway, Rowan, I'll let everyone else read the verbal diarrhoea there that he's going on with. But there are people saying this stuff every day.
Yeah, it's this one of the great outcomes of this virus. It's going to be a terrible thing and awful things, but people do like to find the little silver cloud, and Scott Morrison's terrific little video there shows the silver cloud, or the silver lining to the cloud, in terms of people getting to know each other. And that's what I was talking about before with looking after other people's kids or elderly family, looking after them. All that's brilliant. The silver lining to the cloud is that the climate change cult has nowhere to go now. They've been preaching some existential disaster for, firstly it was in 100 years, and it was in 80 years, and it was in 20 years, and it was in 5 years or 12 years, and it's because the oceans have risen, or because there's no water, or because we've all boiled to death, or whatever it is. They've been preaching these existential crises and doom mongering and trying to get people to hop onto their basically one world government plan because of it. Here we have a real crisis, an existential crisis that science is trying to figure out how to solve, and will solve, knows how to solve. It just has to get on with it. So it's science-based. You know what the problem is. You know what has to be done to solve it. And people understand that and are getting behind it. So instead of all that claptrap about melting icebergs and polar bears, people now can actually see, here's a problem, we will help solve it, and we will solve it. The climate cult has nowhere to go because they can't compete, so they're trying to ride on the coattails of it. And the reality is, Paul, that all the hardship that we are seeing now, and we'll see a lot more of over the next 6 months, is nothing compared to the net zero commitment of the Labor Party and the Greens in this country, and even people within the Liberal Party like Dave Sharma, and people who should be out of the Liberal Party like Malcolm Turnbull, banging on about net zero. This is what it would look like on steroids. So the climate cult has nowhere to go. We now know that we can solve this crisis if we pull together, and good on Scott Morrison for that video, because that's the way forward.
Richo, fighting words from Rowan, or you agree with every word he just said?
Well, I mean, I often agree with Rowan. Fortunately, I don't always agree with him. But look, I don't think that there's much argument here. As a person who has always believed in climate change, I never believed in some sudden crashing of the waves through seaside suburbs. I've never been an alarmist. I believe that the effects of it will be moderate, and I believe they'll be felt over many decades rather than tomorrow afternoon. So for me, none of this is sort of staggering. What is staggering is, I suppose, that I'm agreeing with Rowan. And that always worries me. I'll go to bed, no doubt, sleepless tonight. I'll toss and turn till the dawn.